hadn't have been for Chieftain, we'd have lost the whole herd.
He sure is brave. And smart, too.
Where you figure that blast would come from, Captain?
I don't know. You men take the rest of the herd on back to the Goose Bar. I'll get there as soon as I can. Come on, let's find out who set off that blast. Trouble, ma'am?
My horse, Duchess. I don't know what could have happened. I was up there sketching, and Duchess was roaming free. And I found her like this.
Let's have a look. Sorry, ma'am. Nothing can be done. It's too late.
What could have caused it?
Look at here, Captain. That could have come from?
Only one place.
Yeah, that old Donegan coal mine.
Like they're back in business.
Yeah, this is where the blast come from, all right, Captain.
I had no idea they were mining coal in this locality.
This is the only mine around here, Mrs. Harrington. But there's lots of coal mines in other parts of our state.
Looking for something?
Yes. Rob McLaughlin. I own the Goose Bar Rats down in the valley.
So? You looking for a job or you ain't hiring yet?
I'm not looking for a job. I want to know if this is the place where that blast came from.
It did, right over there at the side of the hill, by the shaft.
What stampeded my horses?
Tough on you. Your horses are not my concern, mister. I get orders to get that mine ready and operating, and that's what I'm doing.
What is your name?
Andy Benson.
I'm Leslie Ann Harrington. I recently bought the Fallbrook Ranch. My thoroughbred mare died from the water you contaminated with the filth from that mine. What do you intend to do about it?
Not a thing. I ain't responsible for nothing except what happens on this property. And this being private property, I want you to get out.
You don't talk to a lady like that.
I didn't ask the lady to come here. No, you either. Now go on, get out, all of you. I can work. Now get out of here. If I ever catch that horse on this property, so help me, I'll shoot her.
All right, we're going, but you'll hear from us again.
Captain, what we do now?
I'll ride into town and file a complaint with the water commissioner.
What can he do, Mr. McLaughlin?
Well, he can make the mine people stop using that stream as a dumping ground. If he doesn't, the same thing that happened to Duchess will happen to all our livestock.
Yeah. Mrs. Eyre will arrange to have Duchess taken away.
Thank you.
And I'll take you home on Flicka, Mrs. Harrington.
All right. I'm very grateful to all of you.
Not at all.
You're welcome, Mrs.
Beauty, all right. Watch his leg movement, Flicka.
He is good, isn't he? Dapper Dan's Kentucky bred. He's the son of Duchess.
I never saw a trotter before.
Oh, they are exciting to watch.
Yes, ma'am. They sure are.
My trotters ought to do as well here as they did in Kentucky.
Are you from Kentucky?
But I lived there for a while. My real home is in the East.
I'll be glad when the track is finished. He's raring to go.
I can see that he is, Ben. Would you like to learn to drive a sulky, Ken?
Would I? Don't be jealous, Flicka. It'd be fun to learn.
You let me know when you're ready. I'm sure you'd learn quickly.
Thank you, ma'am. We'd better get home now. Dad'll be needing me. Goodbye, Mrs. Harrington.
Goodbye, Ken. Well, Ben, I lost Duchess, but I found some fine new friends in the McLaughlins.
The doctor was right in advising you to move out here, ma'am.
Yes. The first time since Edgar's been gone, I feel interested in what's going on around me. Better cool him out, Ben.
Yes, ma'am.
I must have dozed off. What did the water commissioner say?
Nothing. He isn't due back in Cooley Springs until next week. I left the complaint.
By the time he reads it, we can lose half of our livestock from that contaminated water.
The only thing I can figure to do is take the new herd up to the high range.
That'll take 3 days. What about all the deals you made to sell the horses?
Well, without the use of the stream, we have no choice, honey. There isn't enough water here for the new herd. I've rehired the same hands. They'll leave with Gus and me tomorrow morning.
Well, Ken and Gus rounded up all the loose stock to keep them away from the stream. Ken and I'll water and feed them while you're gone.
It's going to be a big job.
We'll manage.
No matter what happens, you never complain.
Why should I?
Now, you take the rest of these signs and nail them up along the main road to town. I don't want nobody saying that they weren't notified about the blasting. Now, you two men, we got a mess of work to do in the next 3 days, so let's get to it.
They told me at the mine I'd find you here.
What do you want?
I want to know what the owners intend to do about the loss of my horse.
You'll have to ask them, lady. I got no time for you. You see those men? They're laying wire and planting dynamite.
Dynamite? What for?
We're gonna blast off the top of that mountain in 3 days. There's the notice. Read it. You men, hurry it up!
This is to notify all people in this area that the company will conduct blasting operations on Section 724. And the Sky High Coal and Mining Corporation is not responsible for loss or injury to any livestock which is left in the area herein described. It is the intention of this corporation to build a railroad spur line to the mine. There are to be 3 separate dynamitings of the Donegan Mountain. The east side, the north side, and the west side. Each blast will be detonated 15 minutes apart, starting at 9 a.m. on the day of June 4th. June 4th, that's only 3 days' notice.
Gosh, Mom, if they blast the north side of the mountain, that'll close Coulee Divide.
The ranchers won't be able to get their herds up to the high pastures.
Once Mr. McLaughlin gets up there, how will he get the herd out again?
There's only one other way, and that's 40 miles around through the Badlands. No water or feed.
This'll hurt every rancher in the valley, won't it?
It'll just about ruin us.
Mom, Dad ought to know about this. I better go tell him.
All right, Ken. Now, I want you to go just as far as Pine Top Ridge. If you can't see him from there, I don't want you to go any further. Give him this.
All right, Mom. Bye. Not a sign of them, Flicka. They must be moving awfully fast. Now what are we going to do?
After my husband died, I was completely lost. I was always so dependent on him for everything. My friends and my doctor persuaded me to come out here.
It's a shame that you had to get involved in this. You've had enough trouble.
I'm going to make a new life for myself in this community. I'll have to learn to face responsibilities. The loss of Duchess was great, but it's nothing compared to what you stand to lose.
Ken should be back. I'm worried about him.
From what I've seen of your son, I don't think he'll ever give you cause to worry.
You didn't find him?
No, Mom, I didn't.
Well, sit down. I'll get you some supper.
I'm not hungry yet, Mom. I've been thinking. We have to figure out what Dad would do if he were here, and then try and do it.
Well, that makes good sense.
Mrs. McLaughlin, do you have a lawyer?
No, there isn't one in Coulee Springs.
I could contact Mr. Roberts and ask his advice. He's the attorney in Cheyenne who handled my husband's business interests out here.
If we only knew who the owners were, we could appeal to them.
I'm sure Mr. Roberts could get that information for us.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And tomorrow I'll drive into town and ask the circuit judge if he can do anything.
Is the telegraph office still open?
For another hour.
Well, I'll drive in at once.
I can go with you, Mrs. Harrington.
Thanks, Ken. That won't be necessary. Thank you, Miss McLaughlin. I'll just get my things and run. You've been
I hope that wire will be good.
Hold it! Hook it up! Right!
I've been waiting all morning at the telegraph office. There's no reply to your wire. And on top of it, the circuit court judge says that there's nothing he can do. The mine owners have legal right to blast.
Can't understand why Mr. Roberts didn't reply.
I ran into Mr. Davis, one of the ranchers at Coulee Springs. He said that everyone's up in arms over this.
Do you think they might use force to stop the blasting?
I don't know. This is a law-abiding community, but under the circumstances, I don't know what they'll do.
What's to be done now?
Well, there's nothing we can do until we get an answer to your wire. Come on, let's go in the house. I left Ken at the telegraph office. He'll let us know if it comes.
Well, this is the day, boys. The east blast goes off in 2 hours. That's 9 o'clock sharp. I'll set off the north blast myself. Once the blasting's done, the railroad crews will move in. You check that line out. Now, you two men come with me. We'll check the east and west sides to make sure nothing goes wrong.
most of the chores as soon as I finish watering the horses.
You've done a man-sized job since your father's been away.
It came! It came!
The telegram, it came!
What does it say? Well, I'm so embarrassed I hardly know how to begin. Here, you read it. This says that you're the owner. A strange turn of events, isn't it?
But how could you be the owner and not know it, Mrs. Harrington?
That's a good question, Ken. My husband had so many business interests, I never paid any attention. The board of directors handles everything. I only signed papers when they asked me.
Well, don't feel so bad. This is the best news we could have.
Wait till that mean foreman finds out that you're his boss.
He has to be told, and we don't have much time.
No, we only have 25 minutes before the first blast is scheduled to go off. I'd better go now.
Let me. Flick and I can take a shortcut and get there quicker.
You saddle up, Flicka. Let you and I go in the house and write a note to Mr. Benson.
All right.
It's all right, girl. We've got to find him before the third blast. It'll close off Cooley Divide.
It can only mean one thing. Ken hasn't reached the mine.
But the foreman didn't believe my note. I should have given Ken this telegram.
We'd better get up there.
Come on now, we gotta get to Mr. Benson.
All clear!
All clear. Mr. Benson, from Mrs. Harrington. She owns the mine. She's your boss.
My boss? Look, kid, I ain't falling for a trick like that.
Please read the note and you'll see. See, she is the owner. She just found out about it herself.
Yeah, sure, she's the owner, all right. Like you are, or like that horse of yours. Look, kid, I warned you. If that horse ever came onto this mine property again, I'd shoot her. And I ain't fooling.
No, mister, no, you gotta do what Mrs. Harrington says.
I'm gonna count to 10. If you're not gone by then, that horse is gonna die. 1, 2, 3.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
There they are.
9, 10.
No, no.
heard the blast, we knew something was wrong.
He wouldn't believe me. He tried to shoot Flicka, but she knocked him down.
It's a good thing she did. You're a stubborn man, Mr. Benson. If you'd followed my instructions, you could have saved us all this trouble. Here, read this.
How do I know this ain't a fake?
The telegram won't convince you, perhaps this will. And I can use it. I'm closing the mine permanently. There'll be no more blasting. Brought nothing but trouble to everyone.
No one could have handled the situation any better. You've earned the thanks of every rancher in the valley, Mrs. Harrington.
If I'd accepted my responsibilities earlier, I could have prevented all this trouble.
Well, if the way you handled that foreman is any indication, I'd say you had a very good grasp on your responsibilities.
To tell you the truth, I was quaking when I picked up that gun.
You both did a fine job.
Well, it's all right now, Flicka. He knows you've done your part.
She and Ken really deserve the credit for stopping Benson.
Oh, here he comes.
Well, I hardly recognized your son.
You look just like a professional driver.
Certainly does. The suit fits perfectly.
Thanks to you, it's the nicest present I've ever had.
Well, you earned it, Ken.
Mrs. Harrington said if I do real good, she'll let me drive that for Dan in the county fair.
Well, come on, let's see how you do.
We go.
You're on your own, Ken. You better stay here, Flicka. He doesn't need any help.